Lauren from the Mineral Body, and today we're continuing our series on the 12 primary minerals, looking today at mineral number 4 here in Australia, which is potassium chloride, or Kalium chloride. So if you've ever seen potassium on the periodic table, it would have had Ka next to it. That's because it used to be called Kalium. So Chloride Muriaticum, again that's the old word for chloride. So Chloride is potassium chloride, is, in Australia anyway, biochemic mineral number 4. So today, keywords for potassium chloride will be the lymph and the glands. So this mineral, hugely nourishing to the glands, hugely supportive to lymphatic function. Supports the lymphatic system, vital whenever we experience swollen glands or lymph nodes. So this is fleshy swelling of the lymph nodes, and I'll explain why. I'll read from Dr. Schussler himself. Fibrin is distinguished from albumin and casein by its separation in a solid state in delicate filaments in any fluid in which it is dissolved. It is clearly shown by biochemistry that without the inorganic salt potassium chloride, no fibrin can be made, and it is further shown that the normal amount of fibrin cannot be held in proper solution in the blood without the proper balance of that salt. Fibrin is the result of a union of certain fibrin-plastic substances, albuminoids, but this union does not take place in the absence of the chloride of potash molecules of the potassium chloride. So without potassium chloride, we cannot form this function that the body usually needs to form, which is the ability to create fibrin, to create fibers out of solution. Potassium chloride is fundamental to that. So because of its balancing effect on the fibrin, the fibrous substances of the body's serums and fluids, think of this as the body's anti-clotting agent. It is at least involved in the body's ability to create clots, to dissolve clots. Fibers in solution, if they're dysregulated, potassium chloride is going to be one of the elements to help bring balance back to that area. So holds fiber in solution, your body's natural anti-clotting agent. Carbohydrate utilization and protein construction. So again, this one's useful for the digestion of certain substances, for the utilization of certain substances. This one pops up a lot in regards to celiac disease, for example. And if one was sensitive to carbohydrates and proteins, this could be another one to look at. Thins tough, ropey mucus. So, exudates that are ropey, tough, white-grey, fibrous. You cough something up and it's fibrous, literally got some resistance to it. You're looking at the fibers in solution dysregulated, so you'd be looking at potassium chloride to regulate, to remedy. Important for fighting infections, like we spoke about last episode, so you'd alternate that with number 3. When the lymph glands swell, this salt thins the lymphatic fluids, decongesting the node and speeding recovery by reallowing the flow. So again, if we're having those fibers dysregulated and the lymphatic flow is being suppressed, then we're getting a build-up, we're getting clogging happen in the lymphatic glands, so we need to dissolve those fibers, dissolve that fluid, get the flow going again. And if we alternate this substance with iron phosphate, then we're attacking from 2 angles. We're oxygenating the substances into smaller parts, we're supplying the cellular fuel for all the cellular actions that are taking place, and then we're addressing it from the serum's perspective, from the lymphatic fluids and from the fibers in solution point of view. So found in nearly all body cells, especially in the cells of the brain, nerves and muscles. It is also present in many other cells of the body. So notes on usage, both 3 and 4 work best in small doses, taken regularly until symptoms subside. So check out themineralbody.com. Under the 12 minerals, there's a subcategory on dosage, how to take. Have a look in there and it'll tell you the different rates at which to take the minerals. So Minerals 3 and 4 are best taken at the acute rate, which you'll find in there. I'll link that below. So areas of application for this mineral: acne, so especially stubborn, tough acne, where the exudates are thick, and this could be examples of fiber thrown out of solution. Asthma, chronic asthma, this could be fiber being thrown out of solution, mucus being thrown out of solution around the lungs. One other bit we didn't speak about, the potassium chloride is a detox promoting agent. It's used in the body as a detox agent. Say we have an irritant, we have a pathogen floating around in the body. One of the easiest ways to grab that and neutralize that is for the mucous membranes to excrete a mucus. And this mucus, this phlegm, this fibrinous substance grabs that particulate, that irritant, and then we've surrounded it in a substance that's no longer causing issues, no longer irritating the body. From here we grab this for processing, process it through the lymph nodes or other excretory organs. But one of the methods that we mobilize these pathogens, grab them and get them out of circulation, is through this mineral, is through the exudation of mucus through this mineral. So yes, when that's dysregulated and getting thrown out, not being uptaken, some part of that process is getting interrupted. We can see fibers getting thrown out through the skin, through acne, through the lungs, through asthma. We can see bladder and bowel infections, bronchitis, you'd see glandular swellings, gastritis. Yeah, it just depends where in the body the mineral is being dysregulated, or where in the body this process is being dysregulated. That will indicate where we are seeing symptoms. But all of these symptoms could be stemming from this mineral and just varying in where in the body they express. So continuing on that list. So we've got bladder and bowel infections, bronchitis, colitis, cysts. So yeah, you'll see cysts form under the skin when the body is low in potassium chloride or some of the other minerals, but potassium chloride is usually always involved in treating cysts. So the body will just encapsulate these substances, stick it under the mat, under the skin, and think, done, sorted. We'll just leave that there. Eventually, when we've corrected this deficiency and we have abundant potassium chloride, we'll come back, we'll dissolve that cyst, and we'll move those pathogens, exudants, toxins, whatever that was, whatever was irritating the body and needed to be just encapsulated and put away until we could deal with it. So stubborn, tough to treat cysts can slowly be dissolved once we correct deficiencies. So fatty foods would aggravate. And again, the utilization of proteins, so if that's being interrupted, then digesting fatty foods is going to be more difficult. So just immunity in general, this will help boost immune function. Infections in general with number 3, iron phosphate. As a liver tonic, if you help boost the detox process before it's getting to the liver, you're going to be taking the weight off the liver. Beneficial for the lymph nodes, for leukorrhea, or the whites as it used to be called, just Google it. For the mumps, beneficial for menstruation when there is dark or clotted fibrous exudants. Beneficial for neurodermatitis, throat infections, varicose veins, fine spider veins, and wheezing. One of the reasons particularly it's good for the fine spider veins is because if we're having trouble thinning the fibers, thinning fibers in solution, and we have these fibers circulating in the blood system, if they get into the capillaries, they can clog these very fine vessels, and you will see the examples of this. Fine spider veins, generally around the nose, they can appear anywhere, and this is the result of, can be the result of fibers not being able to be dissolved, clogging these fine pathways, causing congestion and even ruptures. We sometimes call them spider veins because they're spidery-esque, and this is where congestion's happened and we've had a small rupture, and this is the results of that. So we can, over time, reduce and repair that once we've corrected what is causing the spider veins to occur and supply the body the minerals to remake those tissues more perfectly. Repairs like that do take a lot of time, and the body will always prioritize the internal organs. So if you're wanting to treat something topical like that, take them internally and apply externally. Because the ones you're taking internally are going to prioritize the internal organs first, always. And that is how it should be. So examples of potassium chloride visual deficiency. This one can be quite easy to see. So the face appears very pale, like a milky pale. And there will be a milky bluish tone. And my book has a really good caricature of it. This is Facial Diagnostics by Peter Emmerich. And this has caricatures which over-accentuate the tells. But I do remember some girls looking like this in high school. So ghostly white, super pale, the whole body can be like alabaster in some cases. And that real bluish. Some of the other interesting areas of application for this one. When the blood is thick, black, or tough. So its conditions are improved by drinking water, and application also following vaccinations, which is interesting. So this mineral is going to be boosting the lymphatic function and helping clear out anything we need to clear out, and helping to thin the blood, keep the blood from getting thick, tough, or black. So the tongue, for potassium chloride, you would see a white coating. In really chronic cases, this would be quite thick and potentially getting yellowish. But what this is an example of fibers getting thrown out of solution, and they're showing up on the coating of the tongue. So you wake up one morning and you have a white coated tongue, and the day before you were thinking you were getting sick. This has confirmed infection engaged. You now need both iron phosphate and potassium chloride, and potentially you want to be taking both of those at the acute rate before the infection actually sets in. And if you can do that, generally infection won't set in. If it does move on, third stage of infection calls for potassium sulfate. We'll get to that. So the casts, tough, thick, white or greyish, and a real chesty cough. Can be difficult to dislodge what's in there. So yeah, really thick, tough phlegm, fibre out of solution, potassium chloride. Other tells, movement, cold, damp will aggravate, fatty foods will aggravate, and warmth will be soothing. So yeah, that's potassium chloride. I should throw in. So it aims particularly at the cornea, at the middle and inner ear, the mucous membranes and glands of the lymphoid ring, at the lymphatic gland system, the lungs, the pleura, the peritoneum, and the synovial membranes of the joints. Extras. Yeah, that's potassium chloride. Any questions, just hit us up in the comments, and if you enjoyed, please let us know. Thank you.